Gary Burrows brings a very good evening to you from Oakwell. First Division Nottingham Forest, the visitors in the Zenith Data Systems third round cup competition here tonight. Fresh from a 3-0 victory over Crystal Palace on Monday evening, that game being the second replay of the third round of the FA Cup. Neither Forest nor Barnsley played last Saturday. In the first round of the Zenith Data competition, Barnsley had a fine away win over West Bromwich Albion. And Ian Banks' hat-trick and goals from Smith and Robinson saw the Colliers run out eventual 5-3 victors back in November. In round two, they had a more difficult task at South Yorkshire neighbours Sheffield Wednesday. But after Archdeacon scored twice and a goal from Dean Connolly, they eventually went through after a 3-3 draw in full time on penalties in extra time. Whereas Nottingham Forest had a bye in the first round and beat Newcastle 2-1 in the second round at home, thanks to goals from Steve Hodge and Nigel Clough. Well, tonight's teams line up like this: Barnsley in goal, Clive Baker; 2, Ian Banks; 3, Jerry Taggart; 4, Gary Fleming, who ironically used to play for Nottingham Forest; 5, Mark Smith; 6, Carl Tyler; 7, Brendan O'Connell; 8, Andy Rammell; 9, Andy Saville; 10, Steve Agnew; 11, Owen Archdeacon; and the substitutes, Phil Gridlett and John Dean. The player coach for Barnsley, John Dean. Nottingham Forest, they line up like this: Mark Crossley in goals; 2, Gary Charles; 3, Stuart Pearce; 4, Des Walker; 5, Steve Chettle; 6, Steve Hodge; 7, Gary Crosby; 8, Terry Wilson, who replaces Roy Keane at 8; 9, Nigel Clough; 10, Gary Parker; 11, Ian Wowan, who apparently is making his debut for Nottingham Forest this evening; and the substitutes for Nottingham Forest, Phil Starbrook and Tommy Gaynor. Well, your referee tonight, Mr. Redfern from Whitley Bay. Well, whoever wins this tie tonight, this has got to be settled, whether it be extra time or on to penalties, but the winners of tonight's tie will be at home to Everton in the northern semi-final of the Zenith Data. And it's Nottingham Forest who get the game underway, with Nigel Clough back to Gary Charles, and that goes all the way back to Mark Crossley in the Nottingham Forest goal. Quite a good band of Forest supporters made the trip, as Gary Crosby there loses out, and Steve Chettle again will knock it back to Mark Crossley. Looking down the statistics of Nottingham Forest scorers, Stuart Pearce unbelievably has scored 9 goals, and that for a fullback is quite fantastic, considering we're only just over halfway through the football season. And a free kick given to Barnsley, as Gary Parker judged to be climbing all over a Barnsley player. And launched forward there by Ian Wozen. Pearce knocked on by Parker. And Barnsley come nicely. Seville knocks it out to Archdeacon. Rammell trying to get inside. O'Connell. Banks with him. O'Connell puts it over. Good try. Good try there. Andy Seville just getting his header there, and the ball just going wide of the near post. Barnsley come forward again. Gary Charles. Forest battle in the middle there. Clough, nice little touch from Clough, knocks it back to Gary Parker. And Gary Parker fails to keep the ball in, as we all get warmed up here. Archdeacon to Seville, forward again, and the ball goes out into touch. I'll throw into Nottingham Forrest. Gary Charles to take this one. Nodded there by Gary Crosby. Charles again. Brian Laws, who's been out through suspension, because reaching the accumulated 20 points, could well have been back tonight, but Gary Charles keeping his place through, obviously on merit of form. Barnsley come forward, and eventually Archdeacon nodded out the Forest defence. Agnew battling well, and Clough judged to have legged Agnew. Agnew takes it quickly right across the face of the goal to Jerry Taggart. Taggart on to Smith, who pushes it on to Gary Fleming, the former Forest player, losing out, and Pearce breaks fast down on that left side. Pearce, who's got a shot on him, puts it in. Hodge fails to keep it in, fails to do anything with it, and eventually the ball goes out for a corner kick. Must have taken a deflection off probably Mark Smith. So a corner to Nottingham Forest. Gary Parker to swing this one in. Terry Wilson, those long shorts of his, looks very much like a 1950s type player with those long. And the ball went right across the face of the goal there from that cross. And Clive Baker was in all sorts of problems with that cross coming in from Gary Crosby. And Ian Wowen, who's making his debut for Nottingham Forest, will take this corner. Nodded on. Banks hoofs it out. Agnew trying to get in on there. Walker. A bad ball by Walker. All the talk about Des Walker going to all these foreign clubs, Italian clubs, Juventus and various other clubs around Europe shown interest in Des Walker, and since the World Cup he's not been the player that he was of last season, that is for sure. Brendan O'Connell leaves it for Archdeacon. Archdeacon brings it out of the Barnsley defence. Forrest cut it out. You see down here Terry Wilson just in front of us. His long baggy shorts just relating him to the 1950s type footballers. Archdeacon. O'Connell. Put into touch. And Barnsley of a late league form since the Leeds game. Losing to Millwall here 2-1 a fortnight or so ago. And Agnew going right the way through, and eventually Forrest get it away with Gary Parker. And it's not all. And eventually Ian Wowen bringing it right out of his own defence. Bad ball. Parker. I was just saying Millwall beat them 2-1, and then last weekend going down 2-0 to Oldham Athletic away from home. And really Barnsley, having put themselves in 6th position in not so long ago, have really let it slip, getting themselves right on the brink of the promotion scene. And bad results have plummeted them back down the table, all the way down to 9th position. Yeah, after beating Bristol City at home 2-0, they lost to Leeds. Well, they drew 1-1 with Leeds and then lost 4-0 away in the replay. And then defeats, as I was saying, against Millwall and Oldham. Barnsley again, like in October, having good results. And then a run of 3 or 4 draws on the trot and a couple of defeats in between saw them again slip into mid-table, and again they pulled themselves out of a bad patch, only to reached 6th position and now on the way back down into mid-table again. One wonders what actually goes wrong with Barnsley's side, but nevertheless they're in the Zenith Cup tonight and have a chance to meet Everton in the semi-finals if they can go through. Meanwhile, back to the game, and Clive Baker will launch this one upfield. And Parker sees the ball. Des Walker sees the ball all the way back to Mark Crossley in the goal. And Walker on the ball again. Very cold evening here. Terry Wilson. Nice ball in to Gary Parker. Wilson again. Gary Charles lays it all the way back. Remember Nottingham Forrest, who have been to Wembley on several occasions over the last couple of years in the what used to be the Milk Cup, now the Rumbelows Cup. They won't be winning that this season. They went out in November 5-4 against Coventry City. Agnew having a wrestle, a right old tussle with Terry Wilson in the middle of the field. Agnew to Banks. Banks has got our Archdeacon forward, lays it forward. Nice play there by Andy Rammell. Rammell to Fleming. Fleming trying to go around Wowen. Wowen gets a nudge, and the ball comes off a Barnsley play, and it'll be a Nottingham Forest throw. 10 minutes of this first half gone. And this black sky, the misty, as we are high up here in South Yorkshire. Clive Walker, Des Walker, Gary Charles. Good tackle by O'Connell, Seville. Andy Rammell judged to have been offside. A good following of Forest supporters, really, on this game. Of little importance. A lot of people call it the Mickey Mouse Trophy of the football world, but it can pay dividends if you go all the way to Wembley and actually win the competition, as Nottingham Forest well know. Archdeacon getting back there, just dispossessing Nigel Clough as he careered in on the right-hand side here. Baker. And a free kick to Barnsley as Steve Chettle climbing all over, and that was a free kick again as Chettle brought down Andy Seville, and Seville would have been clean through. I don't think Steve Chettle deliberately meant to trip him. I think it was just a combination of mistiming his challenge. But nevertheless, there's a free kick, and Barnsley have an opportunity to rattle this one. Ian Banks over the ball. Mr. Redfern from Whitley Bay just wanting the free kick to be taken from the correct position. Banks got a shot on him as Ian Banks. Agnew's also there. Archdeacon. Well worked free kick there. That was obviously practiced in training. Agnew having a big hand in that, probably instigated it. And eventually Owen Archdeacon cracking the ball from all of about 30 yards, but eventually just going wide of the post. O'Connell. Pearce. Looking for his 10th goal this season, Stuart Pearce. Terry Wilson, the 50s style player with those long legs. So he's got ski pants on, does Terry Wilson. Gary Charles. Archdeacon to Agnew. Agnew being hustled off the ball by Gary Crosby, and the free kick rightly given. Ian Banks evades one, evades two. Banks could play it through, and the attack breaks down with this 1950s style player Terry Wilson in his shorts. quite comical. You see long shorts on players nowadays. Forrest have a throw on that left-hand side, beneath the eye of the bitter on that far side. And talking of bitter, it's a bitterly cold night. Wowan. Charles. He's got Crosby on his right. Wowan. And he robbed by Owen Archdeacon. The ball goes all the way through only to Clive Baker. Free kick to Nottingham Forrest. Just inside the centre circle. Steve Chettle, a long one forward. And it comes off the fullback, and a corner will be given, and Nigel Clough races over there. Nigel Clough, top scorer this season on 11 goals. He won't score from this corner unless it's an in-swinger. Nodded out nicely by Fleming. Cole Tyler, actually. And nobody wide on this side. Crosby. Strong challenge coming in from Mark Smith. Hodge, good try, but Clive Baker easily taking that ball. Look back at Barnsley's record here in this competition. Should I say, look back at the earlier rounds in this competition. And the Zenith, West Brom away, 5-3 winners. And then Yorkshire neighbours, Sheffield Wednesday, a thrilling 3-3 draw in full time. And then through on penalties. And to beat Sheffield Wednesday at home in any competition has got to be good. So they certainly had a lot of battling qualities to go through those earlier rounds, Barnsley, and they'll need them tonight to overcome the First Division Nottingham Forrest. Andy Rammell, the top scorer for Barnsley this season with 9 goals. He'll be looking to add to his tally. Archdeacon with a throw-in down right on this deep beneath us. And Rammell, the goal scorer, just nudging the ball over Terry Wilson. Smith. Hodge. Smith. Good challenge by Mark Smith. Steve Hodge, who's just been recalled to the England squad, much to his amazement. Baker comes out nicely and collects. And Crystal Palace manager Steve Coppell thought really it was a Mickey gesture, taking the Mickey, the fact that Forest were winning 3-0. And to do that, I suppose really you could read into it he was doing that, but Brian Clough, back to the football, Crosby. And Crosby slices his shot. And manager Brian Clough, who was ominous that he took Steve Hodge off for the fear of his injury. He's only recently come back from injury, and he feared that he could be having a bad time of it. I don't think he was limping or anything, but nevertheless he took him off anyway. Tyler. Agnew. Right across the face of the goal. Smith. Tyler. And Jerry Taggart will go and take this throw-in. My apologies for a few moments ago. O'Connell. Agnew. Agnew to Banks. Banks plays it wide on that right-hand side. Fleming. Seville. Agnew. looking for people to turn to. Good play by Barnsley, Archdeacon, and Archdeacon took his eye off the ball, and the ball goes into touch for a throw-in. Gary Charles lays it in field, Terry Wilson. And again, Barnsley getting themselves in all sorts of trouble, and Clough brought down by Jerry Taggart, but I don't think there was any malice meant in the challenge. Jerry Taggart, who's scored a couple of goals this season for Barnsley, 2 to his. And on the Nottingham Forest bench tonight, not the football actual players, Phil Starborough and Tommy Gaynor, but Archie Gemmell, the former Derby County Scotland player, having a very influential time with Nottingham Forest. And a free kick to Forest, just on the right-hand side of the centre circle, to be taken by Steve Chettle. Referee blows his whistle. And looking for Pearce on the far side. It goes right over the far side. Pearce gets it in, and good save by Clive Baker. You have to watch Stuart Pearce. Very strong, running at defences. And that's where, when he's at his dangerous, he's most dangerous, when he gets round the back of defences and he's got such a shot on him. That's a good ball in for Clough, but Clive Baker won't be troubled by it. Collects nicely. Nice ball forward. Ball forced to Agnew. Bad control by Rammell. Crosby. They call him Bing Crosby because he dances his way past defences. His nickname at Nottingham is Bing. Crosby, faced by 2 Barnsley players, and eventually Rammell gets it clear upfield to Seville, and Seville judged to have been fouled by Steve Chettle, and Steve Chettle wanted by the referee, and the referee again calls to Steve Chettle to go to the referee, Mr. Redfern, and if he doesn't go soon, it isn't Steve Chettle, my apologies, it's Andy Seville he wants to speak to. I don't quite know why. He didn't seem to have done anything particularly wrong from my point of view, but there again, I'm not the referee. Nevertheless, a free kick to Barnsley. One can understand why Andy Seville didn't go to the referee. I also didn't think the referee wanted him. I thought it was Steve Chettle he would have wanted to speak to. But Charles. Crosby trying to get past Archdeacon. Archdeacon faced by Charles, wins the challenge. Saville lays it back. Launched forward again by Tyler. Nice play by Andy Rammell. Saville. Nice play by Saville. Tyler. And Andy Rammell caught offside for... Too forward in his play was Andy Rammell. Clough. And Clough battling away, loses out, Rammell. Play continues, O'Connell, faced by, and he goes past Charles. O'Connell sets himself up, and Walker just getting in the way. O'Connell through to Archdeacon, Oh, and just only over the ball. Good play by Barnsley. Good play. Good intricate football, eventually falling to own Archdeacon, who just, his little lob over Mark Crossley, just evaded the top right upright of the goal there, of the spine cop. Still no goals halfway through this first half. Just looking at a few facts from the Zenith data. Ian Banks, who scored a hat-trick in the West Bromwich Albion game. Remember Barnsley winning 5-3 away in the first round at West Brom. And that victory, not the shine of that victory being taken off a little bit by the fact that Woking beating West Bromwich Albion only last weekend. And Agnew fouled. That player, Bazoglu, was the hero that afternoon. He also got a hat-trick at West Bromwich Albion. Quite ironic. Seems to be the place to go if you want to score hat-tricks, the Hawthorns. Walker showing his England class by beating Andy Rammell. Steve Chettle. About a quarter of an hour of the first half remaining. Parker, Crosby, good control by Crosby. Very slenderly built, Gary Crosby. Agnew. Saville. Good play, and Saville's through. Saville's through, he's got Walker on his heels. And Walker's speed making him cut back. O'Connell, excuse me, Gary Charles eventually getting the ball back to Mark Crossley in the Nottingham Forest goal. The Barnsley fans booing, I think, Andy Saville. I don't know why, because Des Walker, he's got a lot of speed, a lot of class, and he's up against a good player. Archdeacon, Saville, Rammell, Agnew, Taggart racing forward. Taggart, the Barnsley fans just get in. Taggart stopped there by Terry Wilson. O'Connell, lots of balls going astray. Banks, Terry Wilson again. Terry Wilson trying to show some skill, but it's too closely compact to do that sort of thing in the middle of the field. And eventually Gary Charles calms things down and gets it back to Mark Crossley. Saville back to Agnew. Agnew, who we've said on several occasions this season, attracting a lot of attention from First Division clubs. Stuart Pearce. Wilson. Wowen. Charles. Good play by Parker. And the 1-2 didn't work. And Ian Banks, the burly figure of Ian Banks. Good ball to Saville. If he can keep it in, he can do. Saville against Charles. He's got Rammell in the middle. Rammell must put it in. Yes, 1-0. Barnsley 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Andy Rammell gets his 10th goal of the season. Good cross by Andy Saville. Rammell's header not making the goal, and eventually the second attempt, Andy Rammell makes it 1-0. Good goal by Andy Rammell, certainly do Barnsley a lot of good. Hodge trying to get Forrest going. You hear the Barnsley crowd, that's made them happy. O'Connell, Archdeacon, really Barnsley have got to calm it down, because Forrest are very good at hitting you on the counter. Archdeacon. Tyler Rammel, he'll be looking for another goal. His first goal of this competition, Andy Rammel. Taggart. There goes Rammel again. He's got the better of Walker. Taggart. Walker cutting it out. And Forrest have a free kick with Stuart Pearce. Pearce to Wilson. Wilson to Charles. Charles to Chettle. Chettle to Pearce. Pearce to Clough. Banks heads it out. Wilson again. Chest work by Ian Wilson. Good ball forward. Nodded out by Mark Smith. Clough has it. Clough has a chance to keep hold of it. And Parker tries a shot, but the free kick's been given. An infringement on Nigel Clough. He won't thank me for saying this, but I do feel he easily gets knocked over, does Nigel Clough. And he does seem to make a meal of one or two challenges that are made on him. Derby born and bred, but he plays for Nottingham Forrest. Clough, who can strike a ball from that range, looks as though he's going to. He doesn't, leaves it for Pearce. And Pearce's shot comes off Jerry Taggart. And Taggart knocks it out. It's rattled in, it rattled out, and Mark Smith launches a ball high into the stand and out for a corner. It'll be Gary Parker to take this one. We can only be in the last 5 minutes of the half. Parker, everybody up, all bar Gary Charles. And Des Walker. Hit hard and low. And here, Clive Baker. Be a good scoreline for Barnsley to go in 1-0 up at half-time. The ambitions of Mel Machin. Good manager, brought a lot of stability back to Barnsley. No disrespect to Alan Clark, but Barnsley in a lot healthier position than what they were this time last season under the leadership of Mel Machin. Parker, Charles. And Banks charges that ball down. Good play by Ian Banks. Bulldog type looking player. Des Walker. Crosby. Against Archdeacon. Crosby is faced by two Barnsley players there. Gets the throw in. Crosby leaves it to Gary Charles. Wilson, whack forward by Andy Rammel. Saville. Rammel trying to get it on the act, and Gary Charles. And Forrest losing by 1-0. Parker. Charles. Parker. Archdeacon trying to get in on the act. Clough. Wilson. Every time I see Terry Wilson on the ball, it's a wonder his shorts don't fall down. And a corner to Nottingham Forest. Gary Crosby, nice intricate piece of play there. He's got the long shorts of Terry Wilson over there. Good ball in. Barnsley get it clear again. Yet another corner. That'll be their 8th corner, Nottingham Forest. Crosby to take it. Charles is on the edge of the box. Des Walker, the only player back. Headed out on as far as Charles. Charles away on this side. Good tackle by Andy Seville. Good ball up the line, but there's nobody here. And Des Walker will pound it back in. He does do. He finds Clough, takes a deflection, and away for yet another corner. This time on the left-hand side. Our cameraman tonight looking the part in his top cap. Wilson, and only just wide, took a deflection, and that'll be Forrest's 11th corner of this half. That's some figures on corners. Just gives you an indication of how much pressure has been on that Barnsley goal. That could have been the equaliser there. Banks getting in on the act, the ball bobbling around. And Cole Tyler knocks it out for a throw-in. And Stuart Pearce acrobatically trying to get in there. If O'Connell can get it, it has done. Faced by Walker, must lay it back to Banks. Banks looking for support, lays it forward to Agnew. Good play to have the ball, good control by Agnew. Come on, Steve Agnew, you can beat him. Ball goes out for a throw-in. Gary Fleming got Ian Banks back there. Banks. That's a good ball by Banks to Smith. Archdeacon making the run on the outside, lays it back to Taggart. Taggart. Rammel. Smith. And Forrest have the ball in their area, launched forward by Walker, bad clearance. Good play there by Fleming, the ex-Forest player. Banks lays it back to Smith, and Smith could build another attack if he so wishes. Good play to Archdeacon on this left side, back to Smith again. Good ball forward, Rammel. And that'll be a throw into Forrest. Crosby. And Charles stealing a good 5 yards down on the left side. Rammel. Banks. Good play by Banks. Battling away there, Barnsley. Good play by Barnsley. Rammel. O'Connell. I'm sure Barnsley seem to lift their game against First Division opposition because some of the determination and the fighting for challenges, fighting for the balls that they're showing tonight are not there in their play in some of these Second Division games. I'm sorry to say that, but I don't really think it is. And if they could install some of this into some of their play in some of these Second Division matches, the hopes of promotion wouldn't be hopes, they become reality. Charles robs Archdeacon on this left-hand side. Good play by Barnsley tonight. Containing, battling. I don't want to sound too biased towards Barnsley, but my hometown of Derby, which is only 16 miles away from Nottingham Forrest, and well, need I say any more? Crosby. Clough. Smith. Good play by Smith. He's got Rammel on that side. Rammel with Pearce battling for the ball. Eventually the ball comes to Parker. Terry Wilson. Clough. And offside, I thought he was blowing up for half-time. Archdeacon. Parker. Hodge. Scorer of one of the goals on Saturday, in the last round, should I say, against Newcastle. And Forest, because of the victory over Crystal Palace last Monday in the third round of the FA Cup, will now face the team they knocked out of this round a few months ago. That's Newcastle United. They travelled to Newcastle in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Chettle. Taggart. Faced by Clough. Rammell, Saville, O'Connell, teeing himself up, Archdeacon, faced by Charles, gets the ball back to O'Connell off Charles, O'Connell. Good play by Brendan O'Connell. Agnew. One point this season, everybody thought Steve Agnew's ligament trouble could keep him out all season, but fortunately he's back and running around as usual for Barnsley in the middle there. Very articulate player. Charles. Parker. Pearce. Fleming back to Clive Baker. Parker riding on the back of a Seville, but the referee, Mr. Redfern from Whitley Bay, decides that it was a fair challenge. Carl Tyler. Brian Clough, Nottingham Forest manager, has shown a lot of interest in Carl Tyler this season. Barnsley been fortunate enough to hold on to their best players, Carl Tyler, Steve Agnew. Pearce. Clough, Pearce. Archdeacon. Good play by Archdeacon, taken over by Rammell. Good ball inside. O'Connell, if you can just see, he couldn't get the ball to Saville, who was unmarked. He's come wide for Banks. Oh dear me! And Barnsley wasted 2-3 opportunities there. Andy Saville was available initially. Steve Agnew miscued his shot, the ball fell for Banks. Banks could do no more than hit the ball against Steve Chettle. There was a real golden opportunity for the Colliers to go 2 up. And really, you need another goal to the South Yorkshire side to put this game to be really in the driving seat. Good chest down. And Charles getting himself in all sorts of problems, but dribbling the ball confidently out of trouble. A nice play by Gary Charles, keeping his place in the Nottingham Forest side. Brian Law's back from suspension, but unable to dispossess him from that full-back position, that right back. Terry Wilson. Corner, Crosby, taking short to Parker. Pearce teeing himself up for a shot. Good ball to Crosby. control it. He does well. Archdeacon gets the boot in. Nice ball, Charles going forward. And it's the ball! Oh, dear me! I shouldn't chortle at things like that, but very lucky indeed with Barnsley. Very lucky indeed. And Forrest come again. Hodge. There's the equaliser. There's the equaliser. They threatened to do it. And Steve Chettle it was, volleying home Steve Hodges' cross. One apiece just before half-time. And really, Forrest deserved to be back in the game. Got to be fair to say that. Equal really on the balance of play, and 1-1, a fair result at half-time. If this does stay the scoreline, there can't be too long left. Crossley. Parker. Pierce. There's a half-time whistle, 1-1. Andy Rammell giving Barnsley the lead. And then only a few moments ago, Steve Chettle volleying home, scissor kicking on the right-hand side here from Steve Hodges' cross to make it Barnsley 1, Nottingham Forest 1 in this Zenith Data competition. Mr. Redfern of Whitley Bay just about to get this second half underway, and it'll be Barnsley to kick off in the second stage, wanting to rally themselves round and eager to get this goal which will put them back in front. Remember, this game will be settled tonight, no matter what, whether it's penalties or extra time or settled in full time. The only thing that is known that it will be settled in tonight's game. Clive Baker, a long kick forward. Remember, we kicked off late anyway, a 7:45 kick-off this evening. O'Connell, Banks, Archdeacon. Good play, it's a chance! Oh, what a save by Crossley! Archdeacon's rocket of a shot. Mark Crossley diving down into the dirt. And Andy Saville coming in, odds on to score. But somehow Crossley got over and pushed the ball wide and out for a corner. Archdeacon to take it. Archdeacon to take this corner. Right over the back post. Another corner to Barnsley. They're having problems with my watch at the moment. His header must have hit the ball, and Forrest break quickly. Pierce, what a game this is turning into. Pierce, Archdeacon nicely back to Baker. Banks. O'Connell just getting round Chettle. And Chettle knocking the ball out for a corner. Banks to take this corner. Barnsley just into this second half, one apiece, looking for the goal that will put them into the lead. Mark Smith looking eager on the back post here, making his run. And if they'd put where he was, the more might have come to him. Clough. That's nice play inside. Parker. Charles. Crosby. And Crosby and Fleming, the former Nottingham Forest player, just get in there. Terry Wilson, the 1950s style of shorts. Hodge. I think Terry Wilson actually has got some leg supports under his shorts. That's what makes him his shorts look so long. Crossley. Tyler. Nottingham Forest goalkeeper Mark Crossley to launch this one forward. Crosby. And Barnsley, who should have been 2-1 up really when Andy Seville had that chance just a few moments ago. Ian Banks. Pearce. Rammel. Cut out by Parker. Crosby. And robbed by Smith, but Charles is in on the act. Banks, coolly and calmly, composed. Ian Banks, the ball going back to Clive Baker in the Barnsley goal. Taggart. All play by Saville. Rammel going for goal. Rammel going all the way. Good save by Mark Crossley. Bravely to the feet of Andy Rammel. Parker. It's a bitterly cold night. We want this game to be settled. High up here on the gantry. The lights beaming their light down onto this pitch, which looks a bit rain-sodden. Must have had a lot over the last few weeks. Certainly looks well worn. Terry Wilson. Chettle. Barnsley. Rammel, if he could have just controlled that Walker. To Charles. Well, like brothers, don't they, Gary Charles and Des Walker? Walker getting in on the act. Tyler. And Charles knocking the ball into touch. So That'll mean it's a Barnsley throw on that left side. Saville. Taggart coming forward. Taggart, good play by Taggart. Going all the way. Chettle. Wowen. Charles. Parker. Clough. Ball hit back to Pearce. Pearce back to Chettle. Chettle. Forrest knocking the ball about, but getting nowhere as usual. Parker. Charles. Hodge. Good one too. Charles goes forward. And Barnsley really can't afford to mess about like that. Parker. Good shot, and Baker flaps at that one and slaps it away for a corner. Clive Baker, what were you doing? Pearce. Clough. Wilson. Clough. Stuart Pearce to take this throw. He's got Des Walker over here. Rammell. Andy Rammell, it's 3 against 3. Banks. Bad ball. And Pearce, can he keep it in? He can't. O'Connell just failing to keep the ball in, so they'll be throwing to Nottingham Forrest. Stuart Pearce to take it. Very unusual to see Nottingham Forest supporters away from home. Well, a goal kick to Barnsley. Clive Baker. 12 minutes into this second half. It's one apiece on this bitterly cold night. A lot of people in this crowd wearing thermals as Steve Agnew breaks. Ball just won't fall for him. Played wide to O'Connell. And his shot, if playing rugby, might well have been a good pass forward, but it were not, and it was an abysmal pass forward, so it's a goal kick. Good try really by Brendan O'Connell. It was one of those awkward shots that bobbled off the uneven surface and hit the corner flag or thereabouts. Charles. Clough, who's not been in the game tonight, just getting the nod on there. Steve Agnew. Agnew battling with Gary Parker, and rightly so. Referee Mr. Redfern of Whitley Bay awards Barnsley a free kick. And it's going to be Phil Starbrook coming on for number 11, Ian Wowen. So Starbrook replacing Wowen. Pearce. Hodge trying to get in there. Taggart. Barnsley try and get themselves forward again. Stuart Pearce. Good play by Pearce. Give credit where it's due. Good play there. Agnew waiting for the ball, falls to Hodge in the middle of the field, wide to Pearce. Pearce. Clough trying to get in there, and Clive Baker. Rammell. Walker. Lucky to get away with that, Des Walker. Pushing the ball a bit too far in front of him, Clough. nudged off the ball, so a free kick to Nottingham Forest, quickly taken and cheekily done also, put through the legs of Ian Banks. Charles, back to Clough. Clough, what can he do with this? Clough going forward. Lays it to Pearce. Pearce. And Barnsley could break quickly if he could just nudge that forward. He has. And there goes Brendan O'Connell. O'Connell, Walker. And Walker did extremely well. Just outpacing. You don't do that with Des Walker. Brendan O'Connell. One lesson learned, I think, there. Don't try and outpace somebody like Des Walker, because you won't do it. Charles. Tyler, good challenge. Taken over by Parker. Parker back to Charles. Charles looking to do the right thing and put it on, but dispossessed, and the ball goes out for a throw-in, and it will be Nottingham Forest throw-in. Agnew back to Clive Baker in the Barnsley goal. As this game's tempo of the game just beginning to rise slightly. Fleming, the former Forest player, bad ball by Fleming. Lucky gets it back off Hodge. Fleming over to Agnew. Agnew forward is totally unmarked. Is Seville, if he can find anyone near him. Banks is looking for Archdeacon over there. Good ball to Archdeacon if he can keep it in play. He can, I'm sure he can. Faced by Crosby, the cross comes over. And Seville, good, well taken by Mark Crossley. Starbrook on for Wowen. I could barely feel my feet up here high in this stands. You can just, and I've got thermals on. I'll just give you an indication how cold it is. Rammel! Oh, you lucky thing, Mark Crossley. Andy Rammel was so close to just nicking that ball past him. Well, I'm sure Nottingham Forest have got jam on their cake tonight. On several occasions, they've been very, very lucky indeed to be on level terms. All played by Gary Fleming. Didn't quite know what to do with it. And Hodge nearly winning the ball for Nigel Clough. And Baker launches that one forward. Andy Rammel running forward. It's falling for Rammel. Late to Seville. Oh dear, oh dear. Andy Seville. What a miss. That probably is the miss of the game. Andy Rammel set him up superbly. He had time on his hands. He could have taken that ball on another 2-3 yards and made sure. A bad miss there by Andy Seville, and that could cost them the game. And Forest in all sorts of problems at the back. Terry Wilson. Good ball forward to Crosby. Crosby faced by Smith and Tyler. Into Starbrook. And that's gone wide for a corner. Nigel Clough will take this one quickly. About 20 minutes into this second half. Clough to take it in swinger. Will he play it short? He does. He plays it short. Back to Clough. Clough forward again. Pearce. Hard low. Oh, right on the edge of the area. Hit the post. Pearce. And Pearce knocks it wide. And Forest nearly took the lead. So dangerous when they break Nottingham Forest. And Barnsley, well, if they'd have gone behind, they could have only blamed themselves on a couple of occasions this second half. Andy Seville, especially only a few moments ago, as we were saying, don't like to harp on situations like that, but really, a chance gone. Chettle, solid header forward. Wilson. Parker to Crosby. Crosby faced by Archdeacon. Crosby lays it back. Charles. And just bounces off the crossbar. So that's the woodwork hit twice in the last 2 or 3 minutes, Forrest. Fleming. On there. This is becoming a disastrous game for Barnsley. Committing suicide with back passes like that. Gary Fleming, the culprit. Fleming again. He used to play for Forest. You don't now, Gary, so take heed. Fleming again. O'Connell. Agnew, Fleming. Bobbling around, Banks just knocks it in. Charles has got all the time to do what he wants. He hasn't now because Ramos put him under pressure. Knocked out. This is a really exciting game. End-to-end stuff. And Forrest always looked dangerous on the break. What a player by Carl Tyler. Banks. And he's got O'Connell free over this side if he can only see him. Bramall to Agnew. Agnew, O'Connell screaming for it on the right-hand side. Comes right over. Yes! It's gone in. I think it was Andy Rammell. I think it was Andy Rammell. 2-1. 2-1 Barnsley. Or was it Brendan O'Connell? You'll be able to see on your replay. 2-1 Barnsley. I think Banks probably got the final touch. 2-1. At 25 minutes into the second half, Barnsley 2, Nottingham Forest 1. What a joyous scoreline for this Oakwell crowd. And Barnsley got to keep hold of this game. O'Connell, can they get another one? They deserve one. They've got Forrest on the rack. Fleming trying to get past Pearce. That certainly warmed us up here. 2-1. Tyler. And that Barnsley defence does not look too steady. They lead by 2-1 through sheer determination and effort. Bramall. Throw into Leeds United, to Nottingham Forest. Nelly said Leeds United. There's a big band of Leeds fans singing one of the old Leeds classic songs, marching all together. Obviously a lot of Leeds United supporters, when Leeds not playing, obviously probably live in Barnsley and see probably their second team come and beat the first division side, hoping that's what they'll do. A free kick to Barnsley. Taggart, good play by referee Mr. Redfern, allowing play to go on because that free kick wasn't taken from the original position. And Crosley, really a bad clearance, and Chettle and Forrest are all over the place. Ramov, he get there, he can't. And it runs out for a goal kick. Forrest are on the rack. Not the Iraq, the rack. The goal's been peppered and bombarded with miscued shots. And if there's been somebody who could control the ball in that Barnsley side on several occasions, they've wasted no end of chances, but they're winning 2-1. And if the scoreline stays the same, they'll earn a home game against Everton in the semi-final northern area of this Zenith Cup competition. Pearce And Barnsley come away again. Here's Banks. Banks beating 2-3, and his final pass was a good one. Well played by O'Connell. That was unlucky on Brendan O'Connell. Good battling, showing good determination. As you can see from the corner flag there. And good gamesmanship from Stuart Pearce, putting the flag back. Agnew knocks it on. Chettle boots it forward. Smith, under no pressure, knocks it back to Clive Baker. About 20 minutes of the game to go. Still plenty of time for this game to go into extra time. Fleming, the former Forest player. Could you get your name on the team sheet, sir? And offside. 3 Barnsley players offside. Walker. Wilson. Fleming. High ball. Knocked into this main stand. No, it doesn't. It's staying in play. And Walker. Under pressure from Saville. Good play by Walker to Pearce. Pearce, nice play again. That's very good play by Forrest. Parker. Got to keep pressing of Barnsley. They've got to keep hold of the midfield. Archdeacon and Crosby slipped away from Archdeacon. Faced by Tyler. He's gone through. There's a chance here. Clough. What a save by... Great save by Baker. One-handed save by Clive Baker. Tremendous save by Baker. Clough, point blank save, going the wrong way. He's somehow managed to get his body back over the ball. His left hand stretched out. Tremendous save. That'll probably go down as one of his ever best. Fleming raiding down on the right side here. Ball's gone forward. Walker just cuts it out as Rammel tries to get in on the act. This game is a lot better than some of the league games I've seen down here this season, and some of those have been crackers. Gary Charles. Forrest got it all to do. Tyler. Long, tall, gangly figure of Carl Tyler in the Barnsley defence. Remember, Paul Fusher used to be the stability in the Oakwell defence. Wilson trying to get in on the out. Wilson over to Pearce. Pearce wide to Hodge. Hodge inside, cut out. And Barnsley got a chance here. Good play and Saville. And they've got 3 against 3 again. Taggart steaming forward. Saville could have a go. Corner. Doesn't matter. We've still got possession. That's what Mel Machin will be thinking. We're still in. And he's awarded a free kick for offside. Well, I find that very hard to swallow. But as we say, we shouldn't criticise officials' decisions. Was it offside or was it a goal kick? It certainly wasn't a goal kick. Clough to Crosby. Archdeacon, good play by Archdeacon, just getting the toe in to put the ball a bit further on. Parker. Tyler knocks it out, only as far as Wilson. This is dangerous. Banks is there, over this side to Pearce. Pearce won't keep that one in. Yes, he does. Pearce robbed. 1-2. Pearce going forward again. Banks. Good play by Barnsley, steadying the cells up. Got to keep possession. Leading by 2-1. A semi-final in the Zenith Data Mickey Mouse competition. Well, it's not really a Mickey Mouse competition, but that's what a lot of people think of the Zenith Data, with teams such as Liverpool who opt out of entering the competition. It's obviously not got as much value as the FA Cup or the Rumbelows Cup, but good ball by Fleming forward to Agnew. was O'Connell actually, forward to Agnew. Clough. And Banks clobbered Nigel Clough there. He's going in the bunk, is Ian Banks. I don't really think it warranted a booking, probably a speaking to, but deserves to be spoken to, but I don't think there was any malice meant. And Nigel Clough doesn't look as though he's too upset. Has a reputation as Nigel Clough. Pearce to take this free kick. Good ball to Charles. Forrest got acres of room on that side. Parker in support. Wilson. Oh, and just wide, Terry Wilson. Entering into the last 10 minutes of the game. Deacon, Braden and Rammel, if you got it. Rammel, he's got people in support. Bangs, great play, Rammel! It's Crossley's legs. And Charles, does he keep it in? Is it a corner? It's a throw-in. That was a very good dummy there by Ian Banks, setting Andy Rammel on his way. And Mark Crossley really has earned his corn tonight. Agnew. Good play. Good play by Barnsley. And a fierce drive. No danger. Mark Smith back to Clive Baker. Clive Baker to launch this one forward. Pearce comes off the head of Pearce. Chettle. Good play by Smith. Chettle. Good battling second half performance by Barnsley. Haven't got to throw it away. Taggart, chest sit down. Banks forward. No one there to gather it. Mark Crossley, he'll punt this one forward. Starbrook, Clough. Well tackled by Banks, had a good game. Terrier-like midfield player. O'Connell. Bad play, Hodge. Hodge, well played again. 4 players, Barnsley players round Steve Hodge there. Nice play by Barnsley on this right side. That was handball, but the referee never gave it. Seville. And Walker again getting back there. Walker faced by O'Connell. Good play. Agnew. And Pearce just nodded on by Hodge. This game really battling away. That could go for a corner. But Crossley just running out of his goal saves the day for Forrest. Tyler back to Banks in that Barnsley goal. Less than 10 minutes remaining in this game. Chettle, that was handball. The referee never gave it again. Opticians, his first port of call after the game. So most of the Barnsley fans will think. And Clive Baker will be in no hurry to get on with this game. Rammel wrestling with Walker on that far side. Archdeacon. Chettle knocks it out. Starbrook. Good play by Barnsley. Taggart. Sounds like a private detective, does Taggart. The fullback just on that occasion failing to get the ball through. But Parker. Parker looking for support and finds Clough in the middle. Hodge. And Rammell racing away on this right side. No, it's O'Connell. And Andy Seville trying the Leeds United trick was John Dean scored. Terry Wilson. Oh dear, Hodges come forward. And Baker racing out. Puts it into touch. Gary Charles to take this throw-in on the right-hand side, just in the Barnsley half. Nodded on, and he got a boot or a head in the side of his face there, did Phil Starbrook. Gary Parker to take this free kick. Well taken by Clive Baker. It's a bitterly cold night. Must be entering in the last 5 minutes of the game as people, one or two, start to leave the terraces on away to my right. Walker. Andy Rammell getting a boot in there. Pearce. Faced by Archdeacon. Unlucky. Nice play by Barnsley. Seville and Steve Agnew there, the 1-2. And unfortunately, Des Walker just getting in the way. Walker again. Tyler heads it into touch. Parker will keep it in. It doesn't go into touch. Parker. Forrest desperate for an equaliser. Hodge. Come on, Barnsley, keep them out. It's what the Barnsley home crowd will be willing them to keep them out. And remember, goalkeeping errors against Manchester City earlier in the season when Gary Crosby headed a ball out of the arms of the City keeper and a goal was given. And nearly again, Phil Starbrook trying to do the same sort of thing with Clive Baker, but Baker just managing to grab the ball. Archdeacon on that left side, faced by Charles, back to Banks. Banks launches it in. Agnew, close control. Agnew evades 1-2. He's got Gary Fleming on this side. Could tee himself up for a shot. On straight at Phil Starbrook. Straight at Mark Crosley, should I say, in the Forest goal. Wilson. Back to Charles. Charlie boy. Gary Charles there. Appropriate name would be Prince, wouldn't it, for a fullback with the name of Charles? Fleming. Chettle. Barnsley letting it slip in these last few minutes. Good play. Archdeacon, rod by Crosby. Oh dear, throw to Hodge. This is all we do not want. Wilson. And his shot goes way over. And thankfully into the spine cop. Forest fans return the ball quickly. And a substitute again, Tommy Gaynor coming on for, see his number in a minute, number 10, Gary Parker. So Gaynor on for Parker as Forest try and a last desperate effort to get this goal back and send us all into another half an hour of cold and misery. Not that the game's been cold and miserable, it's been a good game tonight. And the right team are leading 2-1, Barnsley. The Oakwell following. Fleming trying too much, but he's lucky he got away with it. Walker, Rammel, Gaynor, Starbrook, should I say, Pearce, Starbrook. Barnsley only a few minutes. Handball there, referee must give that. I'll take back the comment of visiting the opticians. He's obviously already been, because he got that one right. And that ball going back to Clive Baker in the Barnsley goal. Pearce. Wilson. Terry Wilson again. Taggart. Get it away, Barnsley. Seville. Agnew. Gary Fleming. Good ball down here to Rammel. Rammel, early ball in, no. Looking for support. Goes it alone. Well played, Andy Rammel. And his effort way wide of the target. A waste another couple of minutes as Barnsley. They can only be a few minutes away, as we've already said. People starting to leave the terrace in. Why on earth they want to leave when their side are on the fringe of beating a First Division club 2-1. Good game here for Barnsley. Gary Fleming losing out there. Hodge. Good tackle, got to keep them out. Walker, Pearce, Fleming to O'Connell, Rammel, and again Barnsley lose possession. The throw in to Nottingham Forest. No, it's not, it's to Barnsley. They'll be in no hurry. Referee Mr. Redfern just indicating to get on with the game, otherwise you'll be in the book. Chettle, who scored the goal for Forest. It's all Forest at the moment. Gaynor, Taggart, and referee again must have his glasses on because Mr. Redfern never gave the free kick. And Clive Baker, these Barnsley fans want this game over for a semi-final place against Everton in the northern section of the Zenith Data Systems Trophy. Don't play about with it. Well played, Gary Fleming. And it's been indicated from both linesmen that the game is over. We're willing the whistle to go here at Barnsley. Gary Fleming will knock that back to Baker in the goal. Come on, Mr. Redfern, blow your whistle. That's what the Barnsley fans want. Chettle back to Mark Crosley. There can't be much time left on his watch. Wilson, Agnew. Come on, Barnsley, get it clear. Smith, whacked out again, O'Connell. O'Connell battling in there. And Barnsley have got a chance here. 3 against 4, 4 against... Oh dear. And Walker, really, Barnsley had a chance to wrap it up there. And the referee still hasn't got his whistle to his mouth. Can he not see his whistle to find it? We're in bags of overtime. And there's the end of the game. Barnsley 2, Nottingham Forest 1. It's Barnsley who go through to the semi-final against Everton in the northern section in the Zenith Data Systems Trophy, thanks to goals. First half goal from Andy Rummel. Steve Chettle levelled it up just before half-time. And then Ian Banks, I think, was the scorer of the second goal. So, at the end of tonight's game, it's Barnsley 2, Nottingham Forest 1, and a very, very happy Barnsley crowd here in South Yorkshire. Good night.